Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm sorry if I look tired. It's not just the twins. I've been burning the midnight oil, trying to make this a real episode of progress where you can see that we've moved forward with the car. And moved forward we have. I mean, just look at this. Doesn't that look like an absolutely pristine 944 S2 1989 in champagne metallic, ready to hit the road? It does, because it is. It's not R1. R1's still over here. There's a lot of work to do on that, but let's take a look at this one. As you know, we are knee deep in trying to fix our Porsche 944. Those sills, they still need some work, but then we've got loads of other things to do, including looking at how we might modernize it and how we might add an EV powertrain. But, you know, we're putting in all this work. Martin's clearly putting in work too. And probably countless other people are going to work on this as well. And something that struck me as really odd is I've never actually driven a working one. That is until now, because behind me, we have a 1989 Porsche 944 S2 in champagne metallic. That sounds like the description of the other car, but there is one major difference. This one works, and it's awesome. I'm going to show you around it, tell you some things I like about it, and maybe some things I don't like about it, so that when we're working on our project, we can try and improve some of them. Let's have a look. Vast majority of it works. I mean, there's a couple of things I want to get looked at, but the car runs really well and it's fun to drive. Now, before anyone gets worried, no harm will come to this car. I'm not about to strip parts off this as donor parts for the EV. You may well look at this car as a template for what is wrong on the other car. For instance, we know that the suspension on the other car might be from an S1 or an S2. We'll be able to look at this car and work out what's going on, work out what bits are missing and what parts we need to put back on. I know you could say just look at the manual, but actually that manual is like horrible black and white photos that are quite hard to follow, or at least I find it quite hard to follow. Whereas having this car beside it that I could just go over to and have a look and see what's there and what's missing on mine will be very, very handy as we progress the project. No Porsche 944s in good working condition will be harmed during this project. I'm going to take you through a few things I already love and a few things I dislike about the Porsche 944 S2. Start with the good stuff. First off, just look at it. This car is the pinnacle of 80s cool. Everywhere I drive it, people seem to stop and smile. Actually, more people talk to me about this car than the Taycan. This is again an old car thing, is the visibility out of it. These weedy little A pillars and B pillars that maybe aren't as strong as they should be in a crash, especially compared to what we have today, make the visibility out of this car fantastic. You can see everything all of the time. You can't talk about this car and why it's so cool without talking about the pop-up up and down headlights. I know in the last video we said we might make them pop down. I'm rethinking that a little now. They are so cool, and again, everyone asks you to put them up because they want to see them. It is super cool and it never gets old. But unfortunately, it's not all roses and sunshine. Let's talk about some of the less charming aspects of this old car. First up, the seating position. Now, the seats themselves aren't bad. In fact, I quite like them. But you sit like basically in the windscreen. You're really close to it. Getting in and out feels like I'm auditioning for the circus. It's a bit of a clown car situation. I mean, I'm a big guy, but not a massive guy. And yeah, I feel huge in this car. The steering is probably my biggest gripe. Well, that and the fact that this car doesn't have any air conditioning. And the steering really exacerbates the steering issue because it's non-adjustable. It's absolutely nuts. It's like right in the windscreen. For a car that's often praised for its handling, the steering has been quite a letdown, and I wonder if there's just something a bit wrong with mine. There's also this really weird bit at the back here where these kind of nuts are visible between the panel and the boot. It looks horrible, and there's another one at the front like this as well. Don't get me started on the dashboard. The style, the ergonomics, the material, it's a mess. The nighttime illumination is particularly poor, although I think mine has a couple of bulbs missing. It's clear that this area is ripe for improvement, and I think we're right to reconsider the entire interior on our electric conversion. So it's pretty lumpy and bumpy in here, and the speedometer only seems to occasionally work, but otherwise it is a lot of fun. The gearbox is quite notchy. I don't know if that's an age thing or if they always were. It's not like a Civic Type R or something like that where the gear change is amazing, but you know, as long as you're determined with it, it goes in nicely. But yeah, it's quite a lot of fun down these country roads that are twisting and turning. It's got plenty of power for this kind of thing. 220 brake horsepower. So it's a light car relative to modern cars, and it's a decent amount of power, but it's also pretty torquey because it's a big 3-litre 4-cylinder. But it's by no means rapid, but it feels it. You know, it's quite visceral. Oh, this van trying to pull out in front of me, I don't know about that. Really small A-pillar, and then you can see out to either side. But then what's terrible again is the wing mirrors. The wing mirrors are all kind of zoomed in. I feel like I'm about to reverse into something all of the time. They're an odd shape, they're ugly. But yeah, just the actual glass is just like really zoomed in randomly on them. So, and particularly on the passenger side mirror, it definitely is zoomed in. Objects may appear closer than they are, is definitely true, but I think, you know, when we look at the wing mirrors, I would like to look at maybe putting a curved piece of glass in there, more like a modern wing mirror, and see if we can get better visibility, because I don't have much confidence reversing this. So even with the great big spoiler on the back, kind of telling you where the rearmost extremity is. Now let's put this into context. The 944 was produced for around 10 years, 1982 to 1991, and it evolved from the previous 924. This car in particular is a 1989 model, so it's fairly late in the run, so you would think they had ironed out most of the quirks by then. And it was Porsche's attempt to create a more affordable sports car, and in many ways it succeeded. Contemporary reviews praise the 944 for its excellent handling and balance, and yes, it does feel very good today. The front engine rear transaxle layout gave it near perfect weight distribution, and that's something that we want to keep as we convert to an EV. However, earlier models were criticised for being underpowered, something Porsche addressed in later years with larger engines and even turbochargers, this being a 3-litre 4-cylinder. So what does this all mean for our electric conversion project? Well, we've got a clear roadmap now. We're going to preserve what makes the 944 great, that iconic 80s design, the compact size, the engaging driving experience, but we're also going to address the weaknesses. We'll be redesigning the interior, modernising the steering system, and improving the overall build quality. And of course, with electric power, we'll be achieving performance that the original engineers could have only dreamed of. All jokes aside, there actually has been some progress on that car. So I have several episodes lined up for you. I had Tom, my editor, come along and help. So don't lose heart, we actually have done some work on that car too. So there's loads to see in the next episodes. Life, as it tends to do, well, it's thrown both me and Tom a few curveballs. Not all of it was particularly positive, but I'm not going to dwell on that. There is some great news in that we've found a new home for my wife and I, the kids, and also for the Porsche project. So over here, look at this. It's a double garage. I mean, it's not hugely spacious in there because it's divided at the moment, but we're going to get rid of that divide and make it the perfect place for working on this project, day and night, rain or shine. We've got this now. With some reorganization, this space is going to be perfect for year-round work on the car. Filming gear will live right here, ready to go at a moment's notice. No more 2-hour setup times just to film a quick update. Over the Christmas break, I'm going to be getting this space kind of properly sorted. Tom's got some brilliant ideas for how we can deliver monthly content throughout 2025. Yes, I know, another promise about regular content, but this time we've actually got the infrastructure, mostly, to make it happen. Your support means the world to us, and I think this project, the 944 EV project, is about to start a new chapter. We've got a new home, we've got new energy, we're going to make this happen. And at least this time, when I say see you in the next video, I know where it's going to be filmed.